Everything you're about to hear is for entertainment purposes only. Listen, have some fun, but don't ever do, believe, or promote anything they say. They're idiots.
Guys, hold up. You should know, this ain't for everybody. Welcome to Savagely Loud. What's happening, people? Guys, welcome back to the show for the people that understand the facts divided by feelings equals failure. I'm Cliff, I'm your host, and today we're going to talk about some compare and contrast. I don't know if you see my content on social media, but a couple of days ago I made a video and I referenced third world people. And it didn't go so well for some of these people. So I want to get into exactly all the reasons these motherfuckers are wrong. But before we do that, guys, if you want to help me get this word out, help me get these truths out, you can follow me on Instagram. That is where I'm most active. Savagely Loud on Instagram. On that page, you'll find two different links. One link is to the Savagely Loud podcast page on Instagram. You can please follow me there, as that will be my backup page when they fully shut this one down. And you'll also find a link tree there. That's every site that has my social media, my videos on it. You can, wherever you watch, listen, whatever, you can find it there. So check it out. Outside of that, you can follow me at Facebook, X, and Rumble at Savagely Loud. You can also follow me at YouTube and under Savagely Loud Podcast. It's been a long day, guys. You can email me in savagelyloud@gmail.com, which I want to make a mention of because I'm kind of surprised that I'm getting this many emails in. And before you start assuming things, they're not negative, actually. There has been a handful, but mostly, I mean, I would say 98% positive. And I'm really quite surprised by that. And I want to thank you guys for emailing me in, because let's just face it, 40 episodes, we're almost 40 episodes. That's nothing in the scheme of things when it comes to podcasts. You know, there's podcasts out there that got thousands and thousands of episodes. So I really didn't think I would be getting this much feedback so quickly. So thanks, guys. You guys fucking rock my socks off. Beyond that, you can, we did the email thing. That's what we were just talking about, dumbass. Like, comment, and share. Don't forget to like, comment, and share the material, guys. Do me a favor. Like, comment, and share. You know the whole thing. Like, comment, share, and then the bell thing, and the notification thing, and the subscribe thing. Guys, and also, here's a very serious one. Don't forget to rate the show for me. Just on Spotify or iTunes, wherever you're listening. Give me a 5-star rating. Help me out. Let me get this thing rolling better. I thank you to death. Now, let's get into some updates, because updates are, well, they're not abundant, but there is a couple of things to talk about. Let's talk about this iPhone thing, because iPhone, I just want to rant really quick about fucking iPhones. Man, I've been in the iCult for a long fucking time because Androids suck. I'm just going to come out and say it. I know you're offended. Androids suck. I don't like Androids. They're so insecure. Dude, I've never gotten more bullshit phone calls, text messages, and hack attempts than I ever did when I had an Android. So I'm part of the iCult. But they did this update where it just master volumed everything. Now, my phone is sitting with the sound off and on airplane mode, and you fucking heard what it was. The fucking notifications blow right through it. So it makes us look like rookies when we're trying to host podcasts and our phones are dinging in the background. But anyway, back to the updates, guys. I've been getting a lot of requests, a lot of feedback about going to 2 shows a week. I am trying to go to 2 shows a week. I just tonight at 5:00 was a very important phone call for a change of life kind of thing that I'm doing. I did hire myself a personal coach, one of the high-end ones, one of the trustable ones, one of the ones that knows their shit and knows how to get me where I need to be. You may have heard of him by now. His name is Dallas James Wicker. You can find him on Instagram, X, Facebook. You can find him all over the place. I do think his biggest following is on Instagram. He's somewhere 200 plus, but the motherfucker speaks the truth, and I admire him. I've had some conversations with him. He's a hugely trustable motherfucker, and I can see right through bullshit. So I hired him to get me to that next level. So if you're looking to get to that next level, go hire Dallas Wicker. The motherfucker, I promise you, will get you where you need to be. And this is not a paid endorsement. In fact, I paid a lot. I paid a lot to be able to say I endorse him. So go get yourself, if you're going to get yourself a coach, go talk to Dallas. He's a fucking awesome dude. And also talk about the reclamation protocol and the domination protocol. Look into both of those things. Reclamation protocol is free, and you're going to find some very valuable information as well as a network. But anyway, let's further into the updates. Man, this 2-show thing, I'm going to have to work this out because it's going to get tough, because I really want to provide you guys 2 kind of different shows. Like, not necessarily different in like, I'm going to expand my content and do something different. No, none of that shit. I want it to be the same thing, but I really do kind of want to try to lean into that guest spot for the second, that second spot in the week. We can do a solo run first gig, and then the second gig of the week, we can have a guest on. So I have been talking to many fucking people, both known and unknown, because I like both stories. In fact, I love stories from unknown people that you really that have really been through some shit. I just love to hear their stories and see their take on the world, because you know what? If people that are known, I mean, here's the thing, people that are well known, we know their take on the world. Not only do I want to talk to them, but I kind of want to get the take of the normal Joe. I want to get the take of the world, the perception of the world from people that are on my fucking level, on my team, in my corner of the world, you know what I mean? In your corner, and wherever the fuck corner you are, I want to talk to people that are there too. So guys, okay, let's just get into it. Let's dive into this, because we got to rip this Band-Aid off really quick right after this sip of coffee. Yeah, and this is that one of those open top cups that keeps everything really cold. If you can see that, that's obviously my wife's cup, because it says, cold hands, warm heart. We both know I got a solid black heart of gold. But so the other day I made a comment. I made a short video, and I said that third world people create third world countries. It's not the other way around. It's not third world countries that suddenly transform first-rate minds into third world people. This isn't how it happens. And I got a lot of fucking pushback from a lot of fucking people. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of people I didn't even think that I would get pushback from, but I got pushback from even them. So I want to dive into this shit, because unlike you motherfuckers, I do my homework. And I don't mean all of you motherfuckers. I mean the motherfuckers that they always, the ones, they're always in your inbox. Every time you say something that can be disagreed with it, they're sitting there ready to disagree with it or already disagreeing with it. They don't never fucking shine the light on their face when they agree with you. Never so much as a like, a heart, a fucking small comment, nothing, not even an emoji. But man, when it's time to disagree with you, whoo, they're ready on fire, aren't they? You motherfuckers, you guys don't do your homework, and you guys are so blinded by your indoctrination and your programming that you can't even see how fucking truly blinded you are. How absolutely stupid you are fucking being right now. So let's go through this, because when I said that third world people create third world countries, you guys had everything under the fucking sun to say to me. You guys called me every single name in the book. You told me that that I should die. My family should be fucking killed in a fucking bus accident. Like, you guys went off the fucking rails. And then you guys went even harder when I did more research than you did. And I, again, blew holes in all of your bullshit. So the principle that I'm speaking about is everybody out here, these people, these virtue signals. I'm starting to just call all people virtue signals now, because it seems like that's what everybody just wants to do. Like, they want to take a side without taking only that side. They want to leave a little fingering action in the other fucking bubbles, in the other circles, in the other sides of things, just in case it doesn't work out over here. I can jump ship and fucking, now I got a new narrative I can push. I believe this now. Yeah, so you guys, you're so blinded by your indoctrination. Now, because the proof of everything I said is literally right in front of us all. Every last one of us lives by a shithole. We do. every last one of us lives by a shithole town, a shithole community, a shithole city with an even bigger shithole side of the city. Every single last one of us lives by this, and you can drive there and you can see this. Well, that's what I did, okay? So when everybody started pushing back on me for saying that, I got everything, you know. I did, just to throw it out there, I don't want to make this sound like I get nothing but fucking hate. I get a lot of positive feedback, but I get a lot of disagreement from people that are adults, right? They'll send me like, hey, I get where you're kind of coming from. If maybe I could explain where I'm coming from, we could have a conversation. That would be great. I get a lot of that too. So, and I welcome that the most, actually. I would rather have somebody that disagrees with me and wants to have a conversation like adults instead of like the gotcha game or the blame game. I have far more desire, and respect for that than I do just the rah crowd. Like, hey, dude, you're fucking awesome. You're fucking right. Don't get me wrong. I love that. But I would rather have the conversation because I feel like that's where the minds are changing. That's where perspectives are changing. That's where this world is becoming fixed at, is in those conversations. So I really do treasure those most. As far as the fucking cockamamie fucking whack jobs that just come out of the woodwork and just spew a bunch of shit you can't even barely make out, that's more of a testament to who you are than who I am. So, you know, whatever. You can keep that coming too, if whatever. Put it in the comment section of my social media, though. Do me a favor. That would really hurt me if you put all that in the comment section. And what else would really fucking kill me, man? Don't ruin my life by sharing my shit and telling all your friends about how fucking stupid I am, because that would really, really hurt my social media career. So definitely don't do that. But these people that I'm talking about, they have this weird way of trying to, they're either blind to things, whether they're willfully blind or they're just unknowingly blind. And they have this other way of talking out of things. Like they have, what they do is they make reality that we all share manipulatable so that they can change it to fit what they believe. It goes back to a lot to what I say about people. I always say people do not believe the truth. People believe whatever they have to believe to make what they already believe the truth. So it kind of plays back on that. People will try to manipulate the way you perceive reality to try to make it look like it's fitting their narrative. So when you get into conversations about like, well, you know, what the problem, when I'll take the stance, the problem in the ghettos is not the government. I will give you the fact that the government in a lot of these places, city, state, local, whatever it might be, has absolutely given the fuck up on that community. Like absolutely 100% given the fuck up on that community. I will give you that, but I will still stick to the stance that it is the people of the community that create the community, right? If you start talking to people on the street, random people on the street about really beautiful communities, like those picturesque communities that people want to visit, you know, the little towns up in New Hampshire and Vermont and, you know, Colorado, these beautiful picturesque fucking locales. If you start asking people about what makes those places beautiful, they will inevitably get back down to, and the people are so nice. Even if it's not the whole part of the, you know, wholly their argument for it, it will come up. Oh, and the people are so nice. Well, why is it that when a place is beautiful, people are very, very willing to admit that the people are nice, and that is what aids in making that fucking place very nice, if not creates that niceiosity to begin with, right? They have no problem admitting this. But when it comes to the shitholes, when it comes to the ghettos, when it comes to the places that you aren't proud that exist in your own damn town, we see a different thing. We find a different take on things. They have, instead of saying, it's a dangerous, filthy shithole because of the people that live there, they won't do that. they'll say, well, it's dangerous and filthy because the people that live there have to live that way to survive because the government. And then this is where they start keying in, like making up all these laws that don't actually exist, all these structural endeavors within city politics that don't actually happen. They'll start making up and inserting it there. Like, you know, the government keeps making rules like they're not allowed to mow their grass, you know, past 4 p.m. and everybody works in those communities, so they just don't have time to mow the grass. And, you know, and when it comes to the garbage cans, you know, they made the city ordinance say that you had to tip them over on the side so that it would keep the animals out and not spread it everywhere when it falls over. So if you just put it on its side and then the animals can get in and it doesn't spread it all over, they'll just start making up cockamamie shit like this. You know, you've heard it. I've heard it. We've all heard it, and we've all had a laugh. We've also been disgusted by it. But this is how it works. So we've got this whole gaggle of fucking society, this whole giant demographic of society that has no problem admitting that a nice community is built by nice people, but a bad community is built by bad people. They have to believe that the bad community is built by wealth, disparities and the what is the racial wealth gap and the fucking this and that gap and this gap and the other gap. It's always got to be some sort of external factor that creates this community. Well, I wanted to prove all of you guys wrong. I also kind of wanted to prove me wrong too, because I wanted to say, because I dealt with a lot of you when I made that video. I dealt with a lot of you, and part of me, I feel like that's the best way to research is if you attempt to prove yourself wrong. So I heard a lot of valid, like what I thought could be valid arguments. So I went with those, tried to prove those right, and in turn doing so, proving myself wrong. What I found was that I was 100% right. 100% right all the way across the fucking board, inarguably 100% right about everything I said, because I got up early Sunday morning and I took a little drive, and then I took a longer drive and an even longer drive because I wanted to see I've been to these places. Don't get me wrong. I've been to shithole ghettos. I've been to fucking minority-driven, crime-stricken, fucking poverty-stricken areas. Like, I've been here. I mean, I've grown up in northeastern Illinois. My whole shit. Sorry, had French fries today. Oh my God, I shouldn't have, because I figured it was 3 fries. My wife gave them to me. I'll probably cut this out of there. But yeah, they make me burp all the time. I don't know why. Fuck, man. But I wanted to I've been around these places. I've grown up around these places. But I wanted to make an active effort to research what the internet, what local law enforcement, county law enforcement, and state law enforcement said were the worst areas in my general vicinity. And I live near places like North Chicago, which is its own city. It's not Chicago. It's not the north end of Chicago. North Chicago is a very different city than Chicago. So different place. I live by Waukegan, Zion, Beach Park. I live by areas like this, and all of them have really bad fucking areas. Well, I happened to go into Waukegan on Sunday morning in North Chicago on Sunday morning, and I actively researched, where does the fucking law enforcement agencies in this area say is the worst area in this entire place? Well, it turns out when it comes to Waukegan, that says the worst areas are 10th Street east of Jackson. That is exactly the fucking quote from law enforcement. 10th Street east of Jackson, you better be strapped and fucking ready. Well, I went at 5 o'clock in the morning, right? I was driving around for several hours, actually. I was out to about 5 to 8:30, actually. But I drove around all these places, and it was early Sunday morning, so I didn't have a lot of trouble because, I mean, fucking shitheads aren't out early in the morning. Like, I mean, we can dress it up any way we want, but shitheads aren't out early in the morning. So I was at significantly less danger. But I drove around these areas, and I was astounded by the contrast between suburbia and these. I don't want to keep calling them ghettos, but that's the only word I can really truly come up with that really describes what I'm seeing, because every time we've ever had a ghetto described in our history, it kind of represents what I see in much of Waukegan, much of North Chicago, much of Zion, Beach Park, much of every single fucking place that I know. I see ghetto action going on. Maybe let's get into some ghetto real quick. Let's break down ghettos, because I think it's important that we do so, because it's, I don't want to sound completely fucking disrespectful. Not that I have a lot of respect for the people that live there, because let's face it, we're going to get into the fact that you created this problem and it affects everybody and nobody likes it. But according to Wikipedia, American ghettos is what I looked up. Ghettos in the United States are typically urban neighborhoods perceived as being high in crime and poverty. The origins of these areas are specific to the United States and its laws, which, that's weird, are specific. There was ghettos everywhere, which created ghettos through both legislation and private efforts to segregate America for political, economic, social, and ideological reasons. De jure and de facto segregation. De facto segregation continues today in ways such as residential segregation and school segregation, because of contemporary behavior and the historical legacy of de jure segregation. So let's get this, let's iron that out real quick. De jure segregation was by law, basically. It was of law, I think is what it translates to. That's lawful segregation. That's, you are black, you can't be here. This is whites only, shuffle the fuck on. White boy, you can't be here. This is blacks only, shuffle the fuck on. De facto segregation, we've talked about before, and maybe not on a podcast, but in my content on social media. De facto segregation is where communities of people just segregate themselves. Like the Mexicans will say, hey, holy shit, look at Round Lake. There's a lot of Mexicans that live there. I'm going to go live there because that's a lot of my people. And next thing you know, you have entire cities that are comprised of only one racial demographic, and it had nothing to do with laws or nefarious reasons or malicious reasons. It was simply because people of the same ethnic cultural background wanted to live together. That is de facto segregation. Let's continue on. American ghettos are communities and neighborhoods where government has not only concentrated a minority group, but established barriers to its exit. Inner city, quote, is often used to avoid the word ghetto, but typically denotes the same area. Geographic examples of American ghettos are seen in large urban centers such as New York City, Chicago, and Detroit. There's a lot of fluff in here just to make the article longer. There's that thing on, if you want to, here, okay. Here's just a little blurb on de facto segregation. Although Congress has passed several legislations to end de jure segregation in America, de facto segregation still persists in American schools and cities. People have the right to live in communities of their choice, and due to cultural, economic, social, and personal reasons, self-segregation continues to prevail in America. That's what I was saying about de facto. The desire of some whites to avoid having their children attend integrated schools has been a factor in white flight, quote, to the suburbs, and in the foundation of numerous segregated private schools which most African American students, though technically permitted to attend, are unable to afford. Recent studies in San Francisco showed that groups of homeowners tended to segregate to be with people of the same education level and race. By 1990, the legal barriers enforcing segregation had mostly been replaced by indirect factors, including the phenomenon where whites pay more than blacks to live in predominantly white areas. The residential and social segregation of whites from blacks in the United States creates a socialization process that limits whites' chance for developing meaningful relationships with blacks and other minorities. The segregation experienced by whites from blacks fosters and segregated lifestyles and leads them to develop positive views about themselves and negative views about blacks. Okay, let's break that down, shall we? We're gonna tangent real quickly because that's horseshit. Basically, what that is propagandizing this notion that white people, if they live without black people, will be too happy because they believe they're so good, so they have to live with black people so that they understand they're not. No. In fact, I would argue the exact opposite. I would argue instead of whites having to live with blacks so that we can see how good they are, I would argue that whites living with blacks has done nothing but prove how bad they are. And we've now seen it. I mean, our crime rates, statistically, 14% of the population, 52% of the murders, and 70% of the violent crime. Let's not get over our skis with this. You know, we got to see how great black people are. But now that's not to say white people don't have their own fucking issues. Of course, we always have to connotate that, you know, or fucking caveat that. But we have this, so we've broken down what the ghettos are, and the ghettos, as we saw by de facto segregation, okay? So maybe it started in the 1920s, like we did an episode on, where you have black established areas, you have Mexican established areas, you have Jewish established areas, you know, for the immigrants or whatever. And maybe they put rules on the place, but that was a long fucking time ago. We don't see those rules being put in place now. What we see the rules being put in place is de facto segregation, not de jure segregation. This isn't laws being put in place to keep these people down. These are rules being put in place by these people for these people to keep them down and get them down further. Because have you ever, let's go here. Have you ever driven around an area you just knew you shouldn't be in? Just entering the area gave you the feeling inside your heart that you were in the wrong ass area. Well, that's what I do. I love doing it. And I did it last Sunday. So as I was saying, dang, I'm so gassy today. Oh my God. But as I was saying, so I'm driving around the worst areas that my surrounding, I don't know what that beeping is. If you guys can hear that, it's like a notification from the fucking internet or something, but I'm getting no notifications. I'm getting no nothing. Unless it's fucking emails coming through, and I can't see them. I have no idea what it is. So if it's beeping still or notifying, I'm sorry. We're just going to fucking deal with it for the rest of the episode. But so I went driving through the worst areas around me. And let me tell you, let's compare what we see when we go to the ghetto as opposed to as we go to suburbia, because everybody loves to laugh about suburbia, right? Suburbia is fucking bullshit. Everybody's fucking blah, blah, blah. They're fucking weak. They're pussies. They're always mowing their grass and picking flowers. Nobody likes to talk to one another, blah, 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 blah. Well, let's just see if we can work out how suburbia might be kind of the way to go, right? So I live in suburbia, as where most of you do. Most people live in some sort of suburb of some sort of city, and I'm no different. So I live in suburbia, and I don't live in the nicest suburbia part, but I definitely don't live in the helliest, shittiest suburban part. I live kind of middle of the road. It's pretty fucking middle of the road, maybe slightly above middle class, maybe slightly above middle of the road. Well, but just down the street from me are areas that are below the road. They're like lower whacker. They're in the tunnels. And when I drive around my neighborhood, I see a lot of mowed lawns. I see a lot of care taken of people's properties. I see this. And when I go to the ghettos, much like you'll notice when you go there to go drive around and sightsee, you see a whole lot of I don't give a fuck. Like there's no other way to describe it. There is no fucks given about anything in that fucking town except one particular thing that we will get into, because it has to do with priorities. And that is a direct result of why these fucking areas are such shit. So I drive around these areas and I see nothing but, like, I see sorrow. I see pain. I see filth. I see rot. I see decay. And I'm not talking about decay of just the buildings. There is all the decay in the buildings. But I see the decay of human spirit. I see the decay of the human body. I see the decay of law and order. I see the decay of moral compasses and directions leading you to not hurt people. I see an overall decay of society when I go to places like this. Now, That's not to say that every single person, 100% of the people that live there, are absolute total fucking shitbags. But communities are comprised of their communities. Like, communities are comprised of the people that make them, right? So I see a lot of decay, and I was driving Sunday morning, I was driving through the place, and I could slow down because it was early. So, and like I said, nobody's out in the ghetto at 5 to 8 in the morning on a Sunday. So I could really slow down and get to looking at things, take a look around, get a feel for where I was really at and what life must be here. And, I was driving around and all I saw was just rotting buildings. Like this area, time forgot about this area. It just kept marching without it. Like, it's just none of the buildings were maintained. None of the buildings, very, very few open businesses in the buildings that were there. Most of them were just boarded up. Most of them were just empty fucking shells of, somebody's old hopes and dreams at one point. But I happened to stumble upon a couple of schools, elementary schools. And I drove into this parking lot, and I pulled into the parking lot of this school, and it was an alternate dimension for me. It was unreal to imagine sending my children even across the street to go to this school. This school, I'm not going to name the school, but this school, it didn't look like it had the lawn mowed in like weeks. It didn't look like it had ever had a weed whacker taken to it anywhere around anything. The little bit of shit that it had going on beyond its fence was all covered with fucking brush and fucking knee-high grass. And, and they tried to jazz it up. They tried to jazz the place up by putting fucking student art and shit and all over in the windows. But it was sad. It was really fucking sad. And I got out of the car. Not something I probably would have done otherwise if it would have been in the middle of the day, on a Sunday or a Saturday. But I got out of the car and I just looked around. I just sat there and I just took in the feeling of the area. And right across the school has the parking lot, and right on the other side of that parking lot is a very, very narrow, 1.5 lane street. And then beyond on the other side, on that street on the other side, is just house after house after house, and every one of them is in a complete fucking dive, a complete fucking shithole. And I couldn't imagine sending my kids here. I couldn't imagine what it would be like to send my kids to that school or schools like it. I couldn't imagine what it would be like to live in a neighborhood like that and have to tell my children that I failed them so fucking hard that they can't even get across the street without having to fucking watch their back for other motherfuckers trying to take them out. Like, that was the area I was in. You could see it, obviously. You could see bullet holes in I saw bullet holes in mailboxes, fucking walls of homes. Like, this is the area I was in. But there are still people out there that you'll take them to that area and they'll explain that away. Explain to me how the government's bullshit put bullet holes in that person's house. Explain to me how the government's bullshit stopped literally every single person in this neighborhood from mowing their grass ever again. I mean, some of these houses were so overgrown, you couldn't even see the front door. This one house I saw had a fucking Range Rover in the driveway. Ding, ding, ding. That's the thing we're going to get into that has to do with priorities. Had a Range Rover in the driveway. The grass had, I don't think, ever been mowed. The front of the house was so overgrown, you couldn't even see the front door. There was just like this little dirt path down the side of the fucking house to get to what I would imagine would be a back door or a cellar door. And then all the windows in the lower level were broke out. Like, you could see that they were broke out. It had two windows in the whole house. 2 windows in the whole motherfucker. And a Range Rover in the driveway. That's what I'm talking about. If you saw nothing but piece of shit cars in those areas, you might be able to wiggle me into kind of validating your thought that these people, this community isn't this way because everybody has skewed priorities. But when I drive through these areas and I see Range Rover, Land Rover, and I see Escalade, I see SRX, I see fucking CTS, Infinity, Audi, BMW. When I see this shit, your whole idea, your whole notion that it's not based on the people, the quality of the community is not based on the people, goes out the fucking window really fucking quickly. Because every single person here is showing you their priorities. Their priority isn't creating a clean living environment for themselves, their families, other people's families, the rest of society in the area. They're not fucking worried about that. They're worried about the range in the driveway. They're worried about looking like somebody when they're not at the fucking absolute oblivion fucking stricken hellhole that they actually sleep in. That's skewed priorities. That's horseshit priorities. Drive around the fucking suburbs and tell me what you see in the driveway. You see a lot of fucking Mazdas. You see a lot of Ford Escapes. You see a lot of Acura MDXs. You see a lot of Honda CRVs. You see a lot of Hyundai Santa Fe's. You see a lot of Jeeps. But you don't see a lot of Range Rovers. You don't see a lot of fucking Infinities. You don't see, well, Infinity's lower end ones you do because Infinity's junk, but it's just a rebadged in fucking Nissan, and Nissan's fucking trash. But you just see normal cars, normal, realistic, affordable, reliable cars. That's what you see in the driveways when you go cruising through the suburbs. That's what you see. Why? Because it's a smart decision. Well, we have this house that we own and we have to take care of it. So why don't we get something that's going to fucking do the jobs we need it to do? Maybe we can go to the hardware store and get a little mulch from time to time, put some flowers in there to bring home. We can do this landscaping and lawn maintenance with this. We can bring home pieces and maybe, small pieces of wood or drywall to redo insides of the house, trim, whatnot. We can do it with this vehicle. It's affordable and reliable. It'll last us 5, 6, 7 years. Let's do that. On the other hand, in the ghetto, you got people that whatever money they got, they can keep because they ain't paying for that fucking house. They ain't paying. It's very visible. They're not upkeeping the house. They're not maintaining the house. They're not even mowing the fucking grass, so they're not spending money on that. They only give a fuck about what they drive. And they would rather drive an $8,500 used Range Rover HSE from the fucking car lot down the street with 225,000 miles on it than buy a fucking brand new Ford Escape and just keep it for the next 10 years for the same payment that they'll get for that piece of shit Range Rover. It's all about aesthetics, right? It's all about looking like somebody. So you're spending all this money to look like somebody, and then what happens? And then you see a lot of fucking broke down high-end cars in ghettos, don't you? Why? Because it's really expensive to fix them. It's really expensive to fix fucking high-end cars. And these people figure it out when the fucking thing breaks down and they can't afford to fix it. Sure, you wanted your O2 Mercedes, didn't you? You had to have your O2 Mercedes. But then as soon as the fuel pump went out and you found out it was $1,500 and no insurance on earth covers that motherfucker, guess you got a fucking O2 Mercedes paperweight rotting in the driveway, don't you? Bet you wish you had that Mazda now for that $400 fuel pump. But it goes on like that. And that's what and that's what bothers me most is because all of this fucking information, all of this proof is literally right down the street from wherever you are. All you have to do is look and admit to yourself that maybe, just maybe, life isn't exactly the way you thought it was. Maybe, just maybe, what you thought was bullshit. Maybe it was kind of bullshit. Maybe just had a little sprinkling of bullshit. Or maybe it was fully rooted in bullshit, indoctrination, and programming that you have to unfuck right now so that you can help unfuck the world when you get out of your programming days. Because that's what I call it. It's a programming days. Because every time you're fucking... It's like the Clash of the Titans. When your programming goes against reality, it's just boom and fucking explosions everywhere. You gotta fucking, you gotta get through that. That's that Clash of the Titan, that programming days where you're like, oh man, I've been hit in the face with so much fucking information, so much shit. I don't know what to believe. I don't know what's fucking going on. Holy crap, blah, 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 blah. Wow. That's the programming days. That's the days you got to get out of in order to actually make the changes you think you're making by yammering on the internet about the newest, latest, greatest narrative. Guys, I implore you, go to these places. Do it at a safe time because it's not safe areas. I will not tell you to go into an unsafe area at an unsafe time. But I'll typically about 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the morning on Sundays, you're going to be all right. In fact, if you can get closer to 8 o'clock, you actually get the benefit of watching that community wake up. And that's what I did. I started watching people come out, mostly Mexicans. I didn't see many black people at this time, except for I don't know if it was a fucking it's behind the school. It was, this school was overlooked by this very, very ominous looking dark brown brick building that it looked kind of prison-y. But when you come around the other way, I don't know if it was like a retirement home or a apartment building or a halfway house. I don't really know what the fuck it was fully. But there was some commotion happening outside of it. 8 o'clock in the morning. 8 o'clock in the morning. There was already a fucking argument happening at this place. But as far as the streets go, mostly what I was seeing was Mexican people coming out. And in fact, I made a piece of content on that too. Because, so I'll lay this out. I did a video. If you follow Savagely Loud, you're going to know this piece of material here. Let's just say I opened a restaurant, right? I just decided to dump all of my life savings and open this really high-end restaurant. I want the best finishes. I mean, we're talking the highest end marble fucking, floors, the highest granite fucking tabletops, just the best shit ever, right? And then I would send out the all call and I would invite the entire community out and I would grit them to my establishment and I would line them out front of the door. They would be so excited. They'd be screaming, they'd be laughing, they'd be cheering. And then I would come out and I would make an announcement right before I went into I let everybody in. I said, all right, attention please. I know we're all here. We're very excited. We want to have this great experience that we're about to indulge in, and it's going to be amazing. But before we go in, I just want to let everybody know that I don't agree with the laws. I don't believe that the laws pertain to me, so I don't follow them. I don't have the health department inspect the facilities, and I don't have the FDA inspect the food that I serve. In that moment, everybody that was crowded around that restaurant would be there would be like two little puffs of smoke where their shoes used to be because they'd be running away so fast, screaming at the top of their lungs about how I'm a piece of shit, I'm spreading disease because I don't have the health department inspect my fucking facilities, I don't have the FDA touching my food. Oh my God, you're such a piece of shit. You're a purveyor of disease and filth. However, those very same people would be then the next day at a rally to stand up for people like I saw Sunday morning. They would be at a rally standing up for Mexicans, air quotes here, rights to sell their fucking tamales that were made wherever, whenever, by whomever. And they're packed now into a filthy 30-year-old igloo cooler that he found in the fucking trash while dumpster diving gobs and gobs and gobs of fucking decades ago. These people would be arguing for those people's right to sell their fucking shit out of that filthy cooler, but they wouldn't visit your restaurant had you announced that you didn't have the health department inspect the facilities. These are the people that we need to wake up. These are the people that fucking talk all this shit to people like me when we bring reality to the airwaves, and then they go to these places, if on the wild chance you can get them to go. Normally people like this will refuse the trip. They don't want to go because first and foremost, they think it's dangerous, which it is, but that's what's good about it. They need to experience some real fucking danger in their life from shit that they defend, because that's the important dividing factor. If somebody is startled or is in fear for their life from something that they religiously, habitually defend, that is how we wake these motherfuckers up. That's how we shut down the programming. That is how we change minds. That is how we change the fucking world. But on the wild outside chance that you could fucking get these motherfuckers to visit, these are the people that would talk all that shit away. You know what I saw fucking garbage everywhere. If it could have garbage on it in these fucking areas, it had garbage on it. The garbage cans were all tipped over. And like I said in a video, I said, you know, at the first neighborhood that I went to and all the garbage cans were all tipped over, like, I'm like, all right, some punk ass kids got through the neighborhood, had some fucking stupid mischief last night. Okay, whatever. But it was every fucking neighborhood I went to. Every last fucking neighborhood that it was a ghetto that I went to was fucking trash. Everywhere. Flipped over garbage cans, dumpsters, overflowing. Like they never get emptied out or they get filled up 5 times a fucking day. If it wasn't in the dumpster, it was on the dumpster. And if it wasn't on the dumpster, it was around the dumpster. It was just trash heaps fucking everywhere. An abundance of unmowed fucking grass. Like the amount of unmowed grass was fucking astounding. This is what I'm telling you, people. When I tell you motherfuckers that third world minds, third world people create third world countries, this is what I'm talking about. Because there is no law. There is no city or local ruling or law that says these motherfuckers can't mow their grass. There's no city law that says they can't pick up the fucking trash that's all over the fucking place. There's no city law that says they can't plant a fucking flower or two. There's no city law that says they have to live in a shithole. Even if they can't, even if it's the most low income area, these people could all band together and do what they call a community cleanup program. But it's run by the community. And then there is the problem, because that means the people that live in these areas will have to be accountable for their actions. And they can't accept that. It has to be somebody else's fault that I live like this, or my life doesn't mean what I thought it does, and we can't have that, right? If either that or I've got to pull the victim card. I got to pull the victim card. You made me. You made me. So it's either the victim card or I have to accept accountability, and we know that's not going to fucking happen. That's why we have these fucking places so fucking all over the place that it makes you fucking just wonder what the fuck is really happening in people's heads. I don't even wonder about the government anymore. We all, every single last one of us, 100% of us know the government is not here to help us. The government is not here to fix anything. The government here is just here to tax us to fucking slavery and fucking basically just take away our rights one link at a fucking time, so they can, you know, hope that we don't notice, and we go about it quietly until we're all just 100% slaves, fucking attached to fucking, you know, smart cities and 15-minute zones and all this other shit. Every last one of us knows the government's not here to help. So what do we do then? Life is on us to create, right? We have to create our own fucking life. So why is it that some communities do that and some communities don't? Why is it that some states do that, some states don't? Some countries do that, some countries don't. It's because it's built on the character of the people that inhabit that community. If your community is constructed upon people that have no character, you will have a shitty fucking community. If your community is constructed on the backs of those who have character, you will have a nice community. That's all there fucking is to it. The government does not make a fucking shithole and then make everybody have to live in that shithole. Those fucking people that live on 10th Street east of Jackson and every fucking area around that place, have every single ability in their life to clean up their fucking neighborhood, to mow their grass, to wash their fucking windows, to cut down the fucking bushes that have engulfed the front of their homes. Every last one of these peoples have the ability to walk up and down their street, just their street, on one side only even, and just pick up the fucking trash that you see. They all have it in them. They have the ability. And you know, the other thing is, most of these fucking areas are inhabited by people that got nothing but fucking time. They're sucking on my fucking paycheck, your paycheck, and everybody else's fucking paycheck that has the fucking spine to go to fucking work and actually believe that working for something will get us somewhere. They're living on our fucking dime, doing nothing all fucking day long. That's why when you go to the ghetto at 8 a.m. on any fucking day, let alone a Sunday, you're just not going to fucking see much activity. Because they were up till fucking 3 or 4 in the morning drinking. They were up to 3 a.m. fucking, drinking lean or fucking smoking whatever, fucking crack and fucking heroin and whatever the fuck they do in the ghetto. They got new shit all the time. I can't keep up with it, and I don't really care to. But that's the community. That's why the community is that way. It's because of the community. You can't have a shitty community that is full of fucking fantastic people. It doesn't happen that way. And likewise, you're not going to have a fucking community that has a fuck ton of amazing people in it and have it be a dive. Have it be a shithole. Even if the government came through in some of these communities, if the government came through with big trucks and literally spread trash all over the fucking streets, you know what would happen in good communities? We'd go pick the shit up. We would bitch the whole fucking time. We would take to the government later. We would take to our village board meetings, whatever. But we would go out and pick that shit up. You know what happens in ghettos? They say, oh, fuck it. Who cares? If they even notice. I mean, look at the fucking places. And the other thing is, guys, I know I'm going to have a fuck ton of you coming at me because you're so proud of your fucking hood. Why? Why are you proud of that hood? That hood is dangerous. That hood is filthy. That hood is no good for anybody that lives in it. So why are you so proud of it? Your hood is destroying the lives of thousands and thousands of people. So why the fuck are you so fucking proud of it? Furthermore, why are you so proud to be part of the fucking demographic of people that created that shithole? Has nothing to do with racism. Has nothing to do with nationalities. It has everything to do with character. And for all you fucking banging pieces of shit out here that are ruining your fucking communities, why? Why are you so proud to ruin your communities? Why are you so proud to be part of the reason that the fucking people across the street from you can't allow their kids to play at the park? Because they'll get shot. No, you're not there to protect them. You're the reason they're going to get shot. It's motherfuckers like you that are toting your guns around all the fucking time in your shithole areas that are the reason kids are getting shot. Those kids aren't getting shot because they live there. Those kids aren't getting shot because they're children. Those kids are getting shot because you're not getting in the way of the bullets that are meant for you. And that's just the fucking reality of it. So why are you so proud of this? Why are you so proud to live in an area that you're embarrassed to take people to? So embarrassed to take people to, you have to immediately explain where you're going, why it is, how it is, why it is, how it is, how it is. You have to immediately explain everything about this so that you can give this area context because you know nobody is going to respect that area. Nobody's going to like that area. And everybody is going to want to get the fuck out of there as fast as possible. So why are you so proud? And for all of you people that have this ability to fucking alleviate accountability and responsibility from the people that create these communities, if you would wake the fuck up, speak the fuck up, and start embracing the reality here, we could actually have these communities repaired by fixing the perspectives and mindsets of the people that live there. But that'll never happen because you being what could be a vital member of making that happen are so programmed, you're refusing to shut it down. Absolutely refusing to shut it down. And until the day comes where you stop refusing to shut down your fucking, the actual view of reality and how the way the world is, really is, it's never going to get better and it's only going to get worse. And you're going to be complicit in that. I know it feels icky to bring up racial subjects. I know it feels icky to bring up demographic-based neighborhoods. I know it feels icky to bring up ethnic segregation, whether it's de jure or fucking or de facto. I know it's icky. But the only fucking way that we're ever going to fix any of this shit is to get through the icky and get to the information. Guys, every fucking episode, we get into the weeds. And we don't want to leave that way. So we're going to end it on a segment I like to call Hopelessly Human, which starts right after you go to Instagram and follow me at Savagely Loud. Savagely Loud, that is where I'm most active. Savagely Loud on Instagram. You can find Savagely Loud podcast page, link on that page. Please follow me there too, as it will be my inevitable backup. You can follow me on, excuse me. You can follow me also on Facebook, X, and Rumble at YouTube. God, man, it's so late at night. I'm so tired. You can follow me at Facebook, X, and Rumble at Savagely Loud, YouTube, Savagely Loud Podcast. You can email me in at savagelyloud@gmail.com. Thank you guys for all the feedback you guys are giving me again. And last but not least, don't forget to like, comment, and share the material. And please, 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 guys, don't forget to give me that review, give me that rating on Spotify and iTunes. Now, let's remind ourselves that real humans actually exist with a segment I like to call Hopelessly Human, and it starts a little bit like...
People can be really rough. They can be quite tough. They can get in the way, but at the end of the day, some aren't only stupid, some are hopelessly human.
Yes, they are. Some are hopelessly human. And to answer a question very, very briefly about that song, yes, I did make that. I didn't make it. I wrote the words and I told it how to make it, but it was an AI thing. But yeah, it tickles me, and I like to hear that people like it. So, as I always do, I try to tie in the Hopelessly Human segment somehow, some way with the content of the show. And I think this is a really, really good fucking tie-in. Today for Hopelessly Human, I want to talk about Bass Reeves. And if you don't know who Bass Reeves is, he is an American lawman and he is a black man. So let's read a little bit about Bass Reeves and the amazing human that he was. Bass Reeves, born 1838, Crawford County, Arkansas, U.S., died January 12, 1910 in Muskogee, Oklahoma, U.S., was an American lawman who was one of the first deputy U.S. Marshals of African descent in the American West. Born a slave in Arkansas, Reeves grew up in Grayson County, Texas, following the relocation of his owner, William S. Reeves. Reports regarding Reeves' activities and whereabouts during the American Civil War are ultimately unclear. He claimed to have served in the battles of Pea Ridge, March 1862, and Chickamauga, September 1863, and Missionary Ridge, November 1863, under William S. Reeves' son, Colonel George Reeves, for the Confederacy. Reeves' family members, however, claimed that at some point between 1861 and 1862, he attacked his owner following an argument during a card game and escaped to Indian Territory to what is now Kansas and Oklahoma. It is considered unlikely that Reeves actually served at Chickamauga and Missionary Ridge, though it is possible that he escaped later in 1862 following his service at Pea Ridge. Following the war, he worked as a guide for the U.S. government officials interested in traveling through Indian Territory. In 1875, he was commissioned to be a deputy U.S. Marshal by federal Judge Isaac Parker of the Western District of Arkansas, remembered as the, quote, hanging judge for the high number of convictions of crimes punishable by death in his court. Reeves was responsible for apprehending criminals in a 75,000 square mile, 194,000 square kilometer region of what is now mostly Oklahoma and Arkansas. Well known for his valor, Reeves killed 14 outlaws and apprehended more than 3,000 throughout his tenure, including his own son. According to contemporary reports, upon retirement in 1907, he became a city police officer in Muskogee, Oklahoma, where, while there is no definitive proof of the connection, Reeves is sometimes speculated to have been the inspiration for the fictional character The Lone Ranger. The Lone Ranger was my mom's favorite fucking TV personality, or whatever personality growing up. But I thought this tied in really well because this is a black man born in the absolute worst time for a black man to be born in. And he took his fucking future back. But yet, right down the street, can't mow the grass. That's the fucking show. Later, guys.